Peymon who?
Matahede.
Peymon Latahede. Who is he?
Never paid taxes for 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. Hello, everybody. I'm Peymon Latahede, the president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996. In this presentation, I will address a very common question that crypto investors have for me. They ask me, how can I, yes, how can you safely and legally pay zero federal income taxes on all of your cryptocurrency gains? And I'm going to show you the answer for you in this book, the Internal Revenue Code, the federal tax laws, directly from the horse's mouth. This is the laws that the IRS is supposedly following. Over 10,000 pages of gobbledygook minutia, tiny fonts of confusion they deliberately set for you to make you a slave. I'm going to free you by going through this labyrinth of confusion, simplify it as simple as it can be made, so you will all understand how you can legally and safely pay zero taxes on your crypto gains forever. So let's go right here to the website, okay, of the IRS, okay, and look at the 1040 form. This 1040 U.S. individual income tax return form has on the very front page, below your address, a digital asset question. This long question you have to answer yes or no. Well, guess what? It's a trap. You want to avoid this cryptocurrency trap because the digital asset question asks you if you've sold in any way cryptocurrency, yes or no, and you have to sign out under penalties of perjury, under oath. What does that mean? I will tell you, because you have a bad choice in front of you with this question IRS has put on the first page to make sure they get you one way or another. And I will show you how to get out of this whole dilemma the IRS has set for you. Yes, you're going to be audited. Yeah, that's right. You see a cartoon there? It's real. If you say yes, they may audit you, and you will have to prove to the IRS that you're innocent. You want to go to audit the IRS? And let me tell you something else. Right now, I'm helping somebody who transferred over $200,000 from his exchange wallet to his own private wallet. And IRS says, you sold this to somebody, but it was really a transfer into his own wallet. He didn't sell it. So how would he prove that that wallet, the second one, is really his own? Because wallets are anonymous. You're in a terrible shape. You could have transferred from your exchange like Coinbase and Kraken into your private wallet for privacy, because if the IRS treats it as a sale because your crypto exchange, Coinbase, Kraken, or whoever, sold out on you and will send a 1099 form to the IRS saying you sold it to this other place. So how do you handle these problems? Okay, you cannot prove your innocence, right? So I'm going to show you how to handle this thing. And I want to show you, here's the truth. Sign here on the 1040 form. It does say under penalties of perjury. And you do declare that everything on the form is true, correct, and complete. And guess what? You don't fill out this form. TurboTax, H&R Block, an accountant, bookkeeper, or tax attorney, they fill out the form but they are not in trouble. You are in trouble for having somebody else fill out the form for you that you don't even understand. Is that crazy? And again, you have to say yes or no to this terrible question. Now, if you say no, it gets even worse. Let me show you. This is on our website, freedomlawschool.org. When you file a 1040 income tax form or any federal tax form, you give up the right to your most private and sensitive financial information to the IRS, like your cryptocurrency, where you have it, how much is there. The IRS can then use these documents as evidence against you in a court of law, which can then force you to prove all expenses, deductions, and credits that you claim on your tax form. And if you cannot prove such expenses, deductions, and credits, you will end up paying a lot more money to the IRS or even be sentenced to lengthy prison terms. As I said, if they audit you, it's very difficult to prove that you actually didn't have any income, right? Because sometimes you just transfer to your wallet or you exchange it from one cryptocurrency to another. You have to figure out the gain on that math formula. Oh my gosh, what a headache. Can you find any really smart accountants that are that good in math to figure out all the math of cryptocurrency, how much this one cost, how much this one sold? You had bought cryptocurrency here at different prices. Which one of those is a cost basis when you sold the crypto or you liquidated it? Figure out how much this one cost, that one cost, that one cost, how much you sold it for. It's an unbelievable complex math formula, which me, a math guy, would hate to do. But that's what you're faced with. But it gets worse with the criminal case now, okay? You open yourself up to 3 separate tax crime charges for each 1040 IRS form or other document that you file with the IRS. Yep. 3 crimes, folks, because you signed that doggone piece of paper. Yeah. Let me go over that with you. Attempting to evade or defeat a tax or tax evasion, sending you to prison for up to 5 years for each 1040 form or the document per Internal Revenue Code section 7201. Various forms of fraud and false statements, okay, because your statement was false, right? You said you had no crypto, you lied. That's fraud. That's false statement when you try to hide and not tell the IRS about your crypto, right?
Oh no!
Sending you to prison for up to 3 years for each 1040 form or other documents per Internal Revenue Code section 7206. Third, filing fraudulent returns, statements, or other documents, sending you to prison for up to 1 year for each 1040 form or the document per Internal Revenue Code section 7207. This can add up to 9 years for each IRS 1040 income tax form or other tax documents. Isn't that ridiculous? 9 years for simply signing a piece of paper your tax attorney, CPA, professional told you, you better sign to be safe. If you don't, you'll get in trouble with the IRS. You better sign that 1040 form. Your professional CPA tax attorney tells you because he knows the law, right? Did he tell you about this to you? No, because he's incompetent. He doesn't know the law, as you shall see. Since the IRS usually waits until a taxpayer has filed several years of income tax forms before charging them, this can easily add up to more years in prison than the maximum sentence for many violent crime laws. That's right. 5 years if you do the same thing on a 1040 form, that's up to 45 years of prison. Just because you signed that doggone piece of paper, your CPA tax attorney told you it's harmless. You better do it just to be safe and not get in trouble with the IRS. Of course, they make a lot of money off of you putting the rope around your neck. Also, you give up your Fifth Amendment constitutional right to be silent and not give any information to the government that they could use to put you in prison. That's right, folks. Even O.J. Simpson, tried for murder at his trial, said nothing. And he was found not guilty, even though he was. Okay? You have the right to remain silent. Why give information to them? When you saw in that form, that crypto question, you just put the rope around your neck. So what do you do with this problem? How do you solve this very difficult problem of yes or no on that digital asset question on the first page of 1040 form that you must sign under oath, under penalty of perjury? Well, let's go talk about the law now, okay? Before we get to law, let's do a little quick overview here. Here's Forbes tells you very simply that about crypto taxes are generally based on 2014 IRS ruling that determined cryptocurrency should be treated as a capital asset like stock or bonds rather than currency, okay, like dollars or euros. Okay, well, let's go take a look at this IRS notice 2014-21 they talk about. That says this notice describes how existing general tax principles apply to transactions using virtual currency. Okay, now let's go on. And how is the virtual currency treated for federal tax purposes? According to IRS, for federal tax purposes, virtual currency is treated as property, like stocks, bonds, or real estate, right? That's what, again, Investopedia reminds us that when stock shares or any other taxable investment assets are sold, the capital gains or profits are referred to as having been realized. Cryptocurrency is the same way, subject to capital gains income tax. Remember, capital gains tax is a income tax, not just a separate category of tax. Now, let's go now further to this form, capital gains and losses, Schedule D, that they want you to attach to a 1040 income tax confession trap form. But let's move on now to law a little bit more specifically. You're going to love this part. Hang in there. I know it's taking longer. It's going to get a little bit complex, but it'll be well worth your time if you watch this thing, because I'm going to break down the confusion and simplify it for you. Okay? Here we go now to Code of Federal Regulations. This is U.S. Treasury regulations of the federal tax laws. Okay? CFR 1.1-1, income tax on individuals. Okay? What does it say? Well, it recognizes that Section 1 of the code, the Internal Revenue Code, imposes an income tax on income of every individual who is a citizen or resident of the United States. We're going to cover that right now. Later, we'll come back to second half, which says that, and to the extent provided by Section 871B or 877B on the income of a non-resident alien individual. So let's go with the first half. I'm going to show you laws now from U.S. government's official legal website at uscode.gov. The United States code that you see, I'm going to show you, is prepared by the Office of the Law Revision Council of the U.S. House of Representatives. This is the official social law that everybody must go to judges and lawyers to read and understand the law correctly. So this is Section 1, tax imposed, that everybody knows that you just saw the regulations talked about. Yes, it does impose income tax on U.S. citizens. Yes, U.S. But what does U.S. mean is the key to this riddle. Okay? So here we are, folks. Section 1, maximum capital gains rate. It's in H. They're talking about net gain from any taxable year imposed by this section for capital gains. Okay, fine. But now we're going to go to Section 7701 at uscode.house.gov. This is the official website of U.S. government that laws are published for the whole world to know, right? uscode.house.gov. From Title 26, Internal Revenue Code, Section 7701, definitions. A, when used in this title, what title are they speaking about? Title 26, the Internal Revenue Code. This is what they're referring to, the online version. They don't print them like that anymore. This is my old 2006 book to show you. But online actually is easier, okay? They define all kind of terms that do not need any defining whatsoever, but they want to give it a specific, clear definition. We're going to go down to United States and state. The term United States, when used in a geographical sense, well, that's what we want to know, what land area United States covers, right? Includes only the states and the District of Columbia. All right? Well, how about the term state? State shall be construed to include the District of Columbia, which is not even a state. It's the seat of the federal government. It's a territory, okay? So when you add up the state and United States, what do you get? State is D.C. and United States is D.C. plus states, which is D.C. by the way, singular and plural mean the same thing. 2 D.C.s or 1,000 D.C.s, they add up the same thing to District of Columbia. So yes, United States citizens that got to pay income tax are District of Columbia citizens. Yes, not you, the people of the 50 states. Isn't that fantastic? That 10 for income tax form is not a 50 state United States individual income tax form. It is a District of Columbia individual income tax form. Now, I know you're going to say, Peymon, come on. Everybody knows the 50 states are clearly implied in definitions of United States and state. Nope, not according to the United States Supreme Court. Here's Stenberg versus Carhart, a U.S. Supreme Court case in year 2000. They talk about definitions, okay? When a statute or law includes an explicit definition, like the ones you just saw, they give it a clear definition, right? We must follow that definition, even if it varies from that term's ordinary meaning. The ordinary meaning of the 50 states, United States meaning 50 states, is out the window. You got to go by what they specifically list in there. And the court continues. It is axiomatic, self-evident, or obvious that the statutory or legal definition of the term excludes unstated meanings of that term. Yes, unstated meanings of the 50 states are not there. They are excluded from definition of the term United States that you see there. You see Iowa on there? Florida, New York, Texas? No, that's on purpose. They are not there. I'm going to show you now a unanimous U.S. Supreme Court tax case 9-0. Gould versus Gould came in 1917. Still valid, good law. And here's what the court is holding conclusion of the U.S. Supreme Court. They say, in the interpretation or understanding of statutes, laws, levying taxes, in understanding laws that impose taxes, it is the established rule, well known, not to extend their provisions by implication or implying beyond the clear import of the language used, but what the language of law clearly shows, or to enlarge the operations of the tax laws so as to embrace or include matters not specifically pointed out. If it's not specifically pointed out, it's not there. Again, United States and states do not have any of the 50 states listed. Therefore, they're not there. It is that simple. That's a great news for you. It gets even better. The Supreme Court says that in case of doubt, if you have any doubt, you're not sure, well, I don't know, maybe 50 states are there, they, meaning tax laws, are construed, which means interpreted or understood, most strongly against the government's power to tax and in favor of the citizen not being taxed. There it is, folks. 9-0 U.S. Supreme Court case. You know, you are free. Any doubt goes not just against the government, not just strongly against the government, but most strongly against the government. Yes. Now, it's going to get a little bit more complex, but hang in there, folks. You'll like this. I'm going to give you the minutiae of the second part now to make it clear for you. The other part that I referred to earlier, okay? And the other part, second part, this says, to the extent provided by Section 871B or 877B on income of non-resident alien individuals. So I'm going to cover these things. What is a non-resident alien individual? We have to cover that issue, okay? First, I'm going to go show you something else I got to relate to. We're going to come across this term called trade or business, okay? It's a very important term. So look at this. They got a definition for this trade or business. You will see. The term trade or business includes the performance of the functions of a public office. Remember that. We're going to come back to this thing because that also will relate down the road, okay? Let's continue onwards right now. Non-resident alien is also defined in Section 87701 definitions as well, way down there, okay? Here we go down further. Non-resident alien. Now I'm going to tell you something different you didn't know about. America is not a country. We are 50 countries in a union. United States, United Countries. Just like in Europe, there's the European Union. Germany, France, Italy are part of the European Union, and we are part of the American Union. That's why the president every year gives the State of the Union address. That's why corona lockdowns were done state by state, country by country. Florida, Texas, California are all countries with their own legislature that makes laws. That's why you have traffic laws are different in every state. Your car has a plate from your country. Like my plate is from Florida on my car. Okay? Each state has its own governor that heads up the executive branch to execute the laws. and a judiciary and a Supreme Court to interpret the laws. That's right. America is 50 countries plus one country, the District of Columbia, the 51st country, which the states created when they founded the U.S. Constitution. They were the Constitution for this new government called Washington, D.C., and gave it Washington, D.C. to be independent of the states, not under the thumb of any of the states, 13 states at the time. And it told them you can do whatever you want in that land. So United States, usually to us, it means the 50 states as a collection of them, or it means all the 50 states in relation to foreign countries like Russia, China, Iran, Egypt. But the third United States is the District of Columbia and its land and territories that the federal government was given complete authority to do what it wants to do. So I am from Florida. I'm a Florida citizen. I'm a non-resident alien to Texas, California, all the 50 states, all the world, and Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. And so are you. Every one of you is a non-resident alien to Washington, D.C. because you do not reside in D.C. and you're alien to D.C., right? Just like me. So with that understanding, look at the definition, because you know United States means what? Means D.C., District of Columbia. So here we go. Non-resident alien is defined as an individual if such an individual is neither a citizen of the United States nor a resident of the United States, which means D.C., within the meaning of subparagraph A. Subparagraph A right here, right? An alien shall be treated as a resident of the United States. Okay? Again, but the term United States and all this, we know means, that's right. It means D.C. That's right. So you're a non-resident of D.C. You're an alien to D.C. Now that you got that, now we can get to the solution and clarity a little bit more. Hang in there, folks. I'm getting done pretty soon. So here now we're going to go over section 877B that was mentioned earlier. 877B is about expatriation to avoid tax. That's referred to somebody who gives up their U.S. citizenship for tax purposes, becomes a citizen of Belize, Costa Rica, some foreign country. Well, that doesn't apply to most of you anyhow, so don't even worry about it. Even though United States means only D.C., refers to those people, right? Not the 50 states person. If you give up your D.C. citizenship. Let's go now to the other section mentioned here. Section 871, that CFR 1.1 mentioned, right? So that has an interesting heading. Tax on non-resident alien individuals. Okay. That's tax on who? Tax on someone who's not from D.C. You don't live or reside in D.C., therefore you're a foreigner to D.C. Remember, okay, United States means D.C. And remember, trade or business means performance functions of a public office, as I showed you earlier. Remember that too? Now let's look at the tax. It's like a CIA secret code, folks. I have to unravel it for you. Hang in there. But you're going to love this. Okay? Section 871, down further in B, okay, it tells us income tax connected with D.C. business graduated rate of tax. So here we're going to read the word United States, read District of Columbia. You read trade or business, read performance and functions of public office, federal public office, because the federal government is in D.C. With that understanding, we're going to read this section correctly, decoded. They deliberately, folks, confuse you with these definitions at the end hidden so you don't get it. Okay? So here's the truth you're going to see for yourself. Imposition of tax. A non-resident alien individual, someone not from DC, it could be from Florida, Texas, any of the 50 states, engage in performance of functions of public office within District of Columbia, within DC, during a taxable year shall be taxable as provided in Section 1 or 55 on his taxable income, which is effectively connected with the conduct of, performance and functions of public office within DC. Wow. How do you like that, folks? That is, if you work for the FBI, Department of Injustice, CIA, any federal agency, you live outside of DC. You live in Virginia, Maryland, but you go travel and work in DC. Within DC, you gotta pay income tax. The rest of us don't. See, without decoding this section looks like it applies, to somebody else. Okay? It applies to you perhaps, but it doesn't. Now, let's continue on to a 1040 form. So as you see here, this form does not apply to you. Okay? This form applies to citizens and residents of Washington, D.C., which you are not one. So, whether your income is from cryptocurrency, capital gains from stocks, bonds, real estate, rental income, wages, salaries, royalties, any kind of money. If that money is not taxable because you did not earn it, you're not from DC, you're from one of the 50 states. So you never owed anything at all on your cryptocurrency gains. They tricked you to believe that you have to fill out that 1040 form. You have to put that digital asset question and put the rope around your neck and face going to prison for 9 years, or be audited by us relentlessly and harassed and robbed by the IRS, because it's very difficult to do all the accounting work to show your cost basis of your cryptocurrency, especially if you exchange different cryptocurrency with each other and cash. It's a nightmare, right? You can avoid all of these problems. You can avoid the cryptocurrency trap by not filling out the 1040 income tax confession form, because you never had to. It never applied to you. And your CPA, your tax attorney, that's supposed to be the expert, if he's such an expert, how come he did not know any of these things I showed you? Obviously, he's not. Because they don't teach these things in accounting school or law school. They're just taught to make you a slave and make money off of you. Making you a slave. You're the IRS money, you go to prison, not them. They're profiting from your misery. So stop that, folks. Do not fill out that 1040 form at all. Okay? It does not belong to you. It's not for you. No student of Freedom Law School that has come to Freedom Law School clean, stop filing and paying income taxes with Freedom Law School first, and stayed with Freedom Law School has ever gone to federal tax prison. And I've done this program for over 22 years, since 2001. So what you want to do, go to the link below. There's a link below to go to Freedom Law School's website, freedomlawschool.org. And there's 7 steps you can take, folks, to simply free yourself of IRS deception, which leads to fear by them deceiving you, making you afraid. Now you're going to go to CPA and tax attorney, be a slave. Okay, let's rob me. That's okay. I'll sign that form under oath. I don't want to. I don't understand it. I trust you. Even though I don't want to sign that form, that you claim you owe the IRS money on that 1044. That's how they get you. You become a slave and robbed. We're going to free of all that. If you go now, continue your education, go to freedommallschool.org. All you have to do now is go to the link below, take you to Freedom Law School, go through the 7 steps. As you drive in your car, yes, in your car. I know you will not make the time to watch the 7 steps on your own, at home watching on your monitor. I know that, and you know that. So how do you do it? Put your smartphone in your car, connect it to your audio system if you want to. Listen to the videos as you keep your eye on the road and drive safely. Go through the videos 2 or 3 times to really get it. When you get home, lunch or dinner or at work, then you can put it up again as you're eating. See the law for yourself that, oh wow, everything Peymon is telling here from Freedom Law School is law. It's not his opinion. It is the law on U.S. government's official legal websites and normal reports. So that way, your deception's gone. You're no longer afraid. Just like me, you can be smiling with confidence and be free, not file and pay income tax on your cryptocurrency or any of your income of any sort whatsoever. Be free and take part, join hand with other freedom-minded Americans like yourself if you want. Yes, together join hands. We're much more powerful and get our country back. Have America be a free country once again. Folks, I can take a horse to water, but I cannot make it drink. I love for every one of you to be free. I love every one of you, and I want you to be free. But I cannot do that for you. You have to choose, instead of listening to music in your car, or talk radio, or whatever, or silence, use that drive time to de-brainwash, educate, and empower yourself to be free. So empower yourself to be free by going to Freedom Law School right now. The link is also below in the description.